I created a prototype for a decentralized database to redefine our healthcare industry's data systems. One of the, if not the biggest problem with healthcare data is actually in the way that it's stored. Hospitals have specific, efficient data storage processes that work for their individual hospitals. Most hospitals use electronic medical record systems, also known as EMR systems. This has been an incredible innovation from old record systems such as paper records. Dark times for the healthcare industry. That being said, these record systems are incredibly chaotic and have one primary underlying problem. Each hospital has their own electronic medical record system, which works well for them. That being said, they don't all communicate with one another and are entirely incompatible. In other words, these hospitals haven't yet achieved interoperability. Interoperability. This means that transferring data between hospitals is inefficient, non-standardized, and requires a significant amount of time and energy on a larger scale. The current EMR systems aren't necessarily horrible, but in a technologically aided era focused on innovation, it seems almost satirical that our systems still have this level of inefficiency, and this might be attributed to the slow, large-scale adaptive ability to innovation of our Canadian healthcare systems. However, how would we even go about disrupting this industry and solving this problem in the first place? Let's break down this project. There are two primary things that we want to target: efficiency and standardization. In the healthcare industry, medical data is everything. The speed at which we're able to access this data is just as important. Sure, different hospitals can see medical data from other EMR systems. That being said, standardizing that to fit the bounds of their hospital's EMR systems isn't just inefficient, it's unjustified. The first thing that comes to mind when going through a problem like this is creating an algorithm that allows for communication between these incompatible systems. That being said, an algorithm like this would be A, inefficient, and B, ineffective. Here's the thing. Each system has its own set of data points, file types, overall skeleton, etc. Allowing for these hospitals to be interoperable without somewhat of a redefinition to these databases may potentially be possible, but it can't necessarily be a solution, just a temporary band-aid. It's not necessarily solving the root of the actual problem. What we actually need is a single standardized database that all hospitals can update and access on demand, but also that patients can access in order to see their own medical records. This idea shows so much more promise than the last one, but still has a few key problems, or at least areas where the idea itself can improve. This system is centralized. This means that there's a single point of failure and governing authority. On top of this, not everybody gets the same updated data at the exact same time. It kind of solves what we're looking for in the sense that it's standardized, but we have to put a significant amount of trust in this system. All centralized applications are based on this concept of trust. Patients trust the centralized authority with confidential patient data. A centralized system can work, but it isn't the future or exactly what we're looking for when it comes to innovation. Let's rephrase our solution. What we actually need is a universal, standardized, decentralized electronic medical record system, or as I like to call it, a U.S.D.E.M.R. This data will be stored on the blockchain, giving it no actual central authority. On top of that, there are two important aspects of the blockchain which are excellent for a solution as such. The blockchain is A, immutable, and B, decentralized. Immutability means that the data within the blockchain cannot necessarily be changed, only added. This is great for protection of data. If you're wondering how updates will be made to the database, we can simply create new elements within the database and restrict the original ones in search. In terms of being decentralized, we're removing the entire concept of having a single point of failure. This means our database can still function even if certain systems that are running the database end up ultimately failing. This database is also distributed, which means that every single person on the blockchain would have access to the database itself. I can already hear the potential privacy concerns you're about to comment on. If everybody has access to the blockchain, then this confidential data can be seen by everybody. This isn't necessarily true. We can restrict access and create authorization systems through the use of your private key. Think of this as a key for your cryptocurrency wallet. Overall, it's going to be significantly better in comparison to the status quo. This also means that the patients can access their own medical data whenever they want super easily, which isn't something that they can necessarily do with current EMR systems. This entire project solves the fundamental issue of lack of data standardization while increasing data privacy and allowing medical history transparency between patients and doctors. We're moving towards a world in which patients can access their data at any given moment. Hospitals can transfer data between one another, and the entire healthcare system can work seamlessly, coherently, and in a trustless fashion. U.S.D.E.M.R is the future.